I can't recall what she wore that evening. Maybe it was her favorite pale blue blouse, or maybe just an old sweatshirt. The exact details blur when your world starts cracking apart. But what I do remember crystal clear is how she said it, like it was nothing. "I'm going on a trip with Daniel," she mentioned casually, sliding pasta onto her plate as if she hadn't just shattered the ground beneath me. Daniel, her ex. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. The steady ticking of the clock on the wall filled the silence that followed, each second thudding in rhythm with my heart. Except mine was heavier, louder. She glanced up, noticed the look on my face, and frowned. "What?" I forced down a dry swallow, my throat parched. "Say that again." "You heard me," she replied, pushing noodles around her plate without meeting my eyes. "It's just a short trip. He asked me to come. We're still friends. I thought you trusted me. Still friends." The phrase cut like a blade. I had always known Daniel lingered in her life, a ghost she'd never completely buried. But a trip with him? That was different. I kept my voice steady. "Calm, over my dead body." The words landed sharp in the room. She blinked, caught off guard, as though she hadn't expected resistance. Maybe she thought I'd fold, the way I usually did. But something shifted in me that night. It was the start of an unraveling. We had been married for 6 years. Long enough for routines to become habits, for small irritations to fade into background noise, for trust to become something assumed rather than tested. And I did love her. God, I loved her, but love had made me blind. Looking back, the signs were there. The late-night texts she claimed were from co-workers. The sudden obsession with looking flawless before yoga class. The time she smiled at her phone, only to lock the screen the second I entered the room. I told myself it was nothing, that I was paranoid, that a husband shouldn't cage his wife with suspicion. Marriage, I believed, was built on trust. But trust is fragile. One wrong move, and it shatters. Her talk of that trip, that was a hammer's first swing. The confrontation followed. "You're overreacting," she said, arms crossed tight. "It's just a trip. We're adults." I leaned back, studying her face. Was this really the woman I had married? Sitting there, defending the idea of going away with her ex? "Why?" I asked quietly. "Why him?" Her gaze faltered. "Because he understands me. We've stayed close." Understands. That word hit harder than a fist. Wasn't I supposed to be the one who understood her? "Are you sleeping with him?" My tone was calm, though my hands trembled under the table. Her lips parted. For an instant, guilt flashed across her face. Then she shook her head quickly. "No, don't be ridiculous." But the hesitation before her denial said more than the words themselves. I didn't push further. Not that night. Some part of me already knew. After that, I started watching. Quietly, without letting on. She guarded her phone like it held state secrets. She worked late more often, though she never looked exhausted. And once, when she thought I was asleep, I caught her whispering into phone, her voice soft, intimate. I started scanning through our phone bills, and the same unfamiliar number appeared over and over again. Daniel's. Every instinct told me to confront her, to demand answers, to shout until the truth spilled out. But something deeper urged patience. Wait, collect everything. Stay controlled. Because betrayal doesn't just break hearts. It teaches you how to plan. The breaking point. One evening, she came home glowing. Her face lit up with the kind of happiness I hadn't seen in months. She dropped her purse on the couch, spun lightly in the kitchen like a girl in love. "What's got you so cheerful?" I asked, my tone colder than I meant. She paused, hesitated for just a second. "Daniel and I booked the tickets." I laughed, not with humor, but with disbelief, sharp and bitter. "So that's it. You didn't even bother to ask how I felt." Her smile faltered. "You don't owe me. I'm allowed to have friends." Friends don't book romantic trips together. I shot back, her cheeks flushed with anger. "You're being jealous. Controlling. That's not attractive, you know." I stared at her, feeling something hollow out inside me. And then, somewhere deep, something broke. "I'm done." Her eyes widened. "What do you mean?" You want Daniel? Fine, you can have him, but you can't have both of us. The fallout. That night, I moved into the guest room. She tried to spin the story, cornering me with words. You're overreacting. You're throwing away our marriage over nothing. You're paranoid. But every excuse only pushed me further away. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Quiet, calculated. Meanwhile, she grew desperate. She begged. She cried. She promised it wasn't physical. But I'd already seen the truth in her hesitation, in her glowing smiles after she'd been with him. She had left me long before I ever said those final words. The revelation. 2 weeks later, my suspicion solidified. A mutual friend, someone who had quietly been on my side, slid a manila envelope across a cafe table. Inside were photographs. My wife and Daniel, hand in hand, kissing, checking into a hotel. My hands trembled as I flipped through them. I thought you should know, my friend said softly. I nodded, unable to form words. Inside me, a storm howled, rage, sorrow, and strange relief. At least now the truth was undeniable. When I confronted her with the evidence, she crumbled. No more stories, no more lies, just tears and broken apologies. It was a mistake, she whispered, gripping my arm. I didn't mean for it to happen. I love you. I pulled free. No, you loved the life I gave you. The security. Not me. If you did, you wouldn't have needed him. The divorce. It was as ugly as divorces always are. She fought for the house, the car, the savings. I let the attorneys sort out. The money meant nothing to me. What consumed me was a betrayal. The 6 years wasted, the nights I held her while she pretended I was enough. The last time I saw her was in the courthouse hallway. She looked smaller, diminished. She tried one final plea. Can't we fix this? I studied her, the woman I had once loved more than life itself. And I realized something. The moment she announced that trip, our marriage had ended. Everything afterward was just smoke and ash. No, I said softly. We can't. And I walked away. Reflection. A year has passed. Some nights, I still wake up reaching for her out of habit. Some mornings, the silence in the kitchen presses down on me like a weight. Betrayal carves deep scars, and mine haven't fully healed. But slowly, I'm learning to breathe again. When I think back to that night, the night she casually told me she was leaving with her ex, I see it clearly now. Those words I spoke, calm and steady, with a first step toward freedom, over my dead body. Sometimes the quietest sentences carry the heaviest truth.